Hi, everyone. Thank you and welcome for joining us on our latest and our D6 Elevated webinar series. We will begin shortly. We're just going to give it another minute or two to allow anyone else to join that still needs to. Just then a little bit of housekeeping before we do begin. You will notice that there on your left-hand side, there are a couple of options for you. Firstly, your mic is muted. It needs to be that way. Thank you very much. If you do have any questions, please click on the question box. And then we do have Donato in the background who is kindly assisting us in making sure that any questions or any concerns get answered. Also, there is a poll box. At the end of the session, we will be running a few polls. If you could please stay behind just to help us understand a little bit about where you are in terms of the content. I think that's it for now. It'll be about another minute and then we'll begin. Okay. So again, thank you and welcome to our D6 Elevated webinar series. At D6, we recognize the value of partnerships, and the purpose of this series is that we've identified a number of partners that offer world-class offerings to our schools, and we believe that our schools will benefit in hearing about these offerings and understanding what the topical and thought leadership issues are in that particular industry. Today, we are privileged to be joined by Yenza. Yenza is a really exciting and world-leading career advice platform, but as you will hear once we hear from Jared, there's much more to it than that. And I think that for many of us, the concept of career advice is something that is almost an afterthought in terms of what education is about. But really, when we delve into it, it is clearly the purpose of what we're doing is preparing our learners, our children, for a future that many of them have no idea about. And in fact, even ourselves as educators have less and less idea of what that's going to look like. So as I say, we are very privileged and very excited to be joined by Yenza, and particularly the CEO of Yenza, Jared Molko. Jared has quite an exciting and broad CV, which will speak to his expertise in this area. Specifically, he's an ex-Googler who formed part of the founding Google team in sub-Saharan Africa. He's also an accomplished speaker with 2 TED Talks under his name. And during his 7 years at Google, he completed a master's degree in analytical psychology, and he is now focusing his attention towards the intersection between technology and psychology to provide solutions that enable youth to reach their full potential and self-awareness, as well as professional and personal development. I think that having heard Jared speak, he speaks with some pain of being misguided in his youth. So that's why after Google, he founded Yenza, or co-founded Yenza in 2019. And Yenza is now already a multiple award-winning career pathing platform for K-12, so grade R all the way through schools, servicing over 150 schools in over 65 young learners in multiple African markets. So with all that build-up, Jared, if I can please, really excited to hear what you have to share with us today.
Thanks so much, Brad. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. Just to give a little correction there, 150 schools and not 65 learners, but 65,000 learners. Otherwise, we'd be dealing with very small schools. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Right. So I'm going to take you through a presentation where the focus of the presentation is not on Yenza. It's more around thinking around future-proofing young learners and an overlay of the impact of technology and what we need to be considering, because we all know technology is a real thing. And I think everyone in the education sector is really grappling with this, and how do we actually evolve and adapt to future-proof our learners to succeed and thrive in this very fast-changing, complex, and extremely exciting world of work. So just to confirm, Brad, if you don't mind, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let me run through some stuff. So we've moved from an industrialized world to a technological world. So technology, if you remember, it used to actually be a sector within the working world, but it's now no longer seen as a sector. It is pervasive to everything that we do. The fast rate of change means we're constantly figuring out new ways of doing work. And the impact of that means that we have to continuously be learning. No more is it a case of, okay, I've done my 3-year diploma or 4-year degree and I have the prerequisite knowledge that I need to succeed. We are constantly having to update our information to be able to do the work that we need to do. Technology is a double-edged sword. It is both creative and destructive, which means it's very difficult to predict the future. So focusing on the foundational skills is a wiser strategy than trying to predict what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. The foundational skills won't change, which is good for us to know and to think about. And then automation means that we really do need to rethink value creation. What does it mean as humans in order to be able to add value in a world of work where so much is being automated? And we'll talk to the idea of having higher order skills as well as a shift towards the importance of softer skills. So that's a kind of framing for you. Another framing would be we are transitioning as a species, I would say, where it all started with the internet, and the big thing around that was getting access to information. Now, once you start understanding that information and figuring out and going deeper into subject matter, you can turn that into knowledge. And now with technology and generative AI and all of these wonderful things that are happening, knowledge is being commoditized. And so we as human beings, because we are interfacing with such powerful tools and technology, we have to start becoming wiser as a society, as a species. And so things like reason, morality, ethics, philosophy, critical thinking, these are critical elements for us to be able to make wiser, smarter decisions with the powerful tools available to us. In terms of the technological impact on education, I think it's going to really change the education landscape, as I'm sure everyone is aware of. First and foremost, technology gives us access as well as support. Previously, so many people just simply didn't have access to baseline information, baseline support, because of various systemic issues, infrastructure issues, affordability, and technology essentially can level the playing fields and give people access to critical information that they would have struggled to receive that access before, all through the power of online, digital, smartphones. We're able to really give a lot more people education than we were in the past. Taking that a step further, we're able to now personalize things a lot more. So it's not a one size fits all. There's a lot of exciting technologies coming out, including our own, where we're able to really personalize the learning experience based on the individual, their preferences, their strengths, their passions, and we can really inject a lot more life into how we teach by utilizing technology to really personalize the experience. And for me, I think the most important thing is technology, when it's done right, is supposed to give our teachers and our educators a lot more time back. So if you speak to any teacher, and you'll know yourselves, so often we're bogged down with the administration side of teaching, and we don't actually get to spend the time that we really want to guide and teach learners. And that's essentially what we signed up for in the beginning. So technology will streamline a lot of the processes. It already is streamlining a lot of the processes that take away so much time, so that we can focus in to give the learners the attention that they need. So what are people saying? This was a very interesting PwC education survey. which I thought there were a couple interesting insights and statistics. 76% believe that the role of the teacher will evolve to mentoring and supporting a learner experience rather than just lecturing, because the information is out there, it's readily accessible. And so the teacher's role becomes more of a mentor and a support function, which I think is very exciting. And 66% of teachers agree that AI will play a critical role in curriculum design and assessment for the future. Generative AI, is it a friend or is it a foe? So again, I think this is a very hot topic. We're all grappling with it. I picked out this little paragraph over here, and I'll just read it to you because I think it kind of articulates my thinking around this really well. So AI, or generative AI, is only a threat to those who expect students to memorize and regurgitate the information that is already widely available. The role of educators is that which ChatGPT cannot currently do, i.e. help students untangle difficult concepts, make connections between theories, applications and practices, and most importantly, to engage and inspire the student. And I think that just goes really to the core of what teaching is all about. And so that's again why I kind of side on the fact that all of this AI, the implications of it is very positive, but it will be positive if we take positive steps towards utilizing it. Another shift will be around not focusing as much on outcomes, because outcomes can really be commodified thanks to technology. It's more about focusing in on the process when it comes to teaching, understanding the learner process and helping an individual through their own learning process. And I think that's where you get to the real core of someone's aptitude. And technological innovation will get us a lot closer to process, which is, again, closer to the thinking that is going on within the individual's mind. And that's where the learning and the grappling with information takes place. So shifting now to future skills. So there is a change in the zeitgeist of what's going on. We are shifting now from a qualifications-based economy to a skills-based economy. So what that means is that employers are far more interested in the actual skills that the individual can showcase versus the fact that they've got a 3-year diploma or a 4-year degree. The reason for this is that because things are changing so rapidly, information and knowledge is getting outdated so quickly, skills and experience and being able to show a portfolio and to be able to display what an individual can or can't do is becoming better received and more valuable in the eyes of employers. In terms of future skills, so the next slide will probably do a better framing here, but you could think of it across 3 pillars of higher cognitive skills. So we as human beings have to basically up our levels, up our game in terms of how we work. Anything that is repetitive and predictable will be automated. So a lot of the work that currently gets done, knowledge work, it's actually very predictable and very repetitive, and it's something that a machine can do way faster and way better than we can. And so we have to level up in terms of how we create value. And the 3 pillars in which you can think of it is these higher cognitive skills like synthesis and decision-making, social and emotional skills, so talking to the softer skills of how we connect and how we collaborate with people, and having a baseline level of decent technological skills, considering technology will be pervasive in all kinds of jobs that we do. Another way of looking at skills is through this lens of data, people, and things. So this is a nice framework in terms of the different kinds of skills. And when we talk about higher order skills, we're moving up the ladder here in terms of, if you're looking at data, instead of compiling or even analyzing information, we need to do a job at synthesizing information across multiple fields or multiple areas to connect the dots and make sense of things. That's something that machines and technology struggle to do. And even if they can do, we still need a layering of human reasoning and intelligence to make it applicable for specific use cases. Same with people. Instead of instructing people, we need to be able to negotiate, mentor, and persuade. These are far more valuable skills. And instead of operating machinery or operating things, we need to be able to use specialized tooling or reconstruction, taking things apart, putting them back together in different ways. So it requires more from us. Another important thing, which comes out of an amazing book called Range, is that in today's world, building out a range of skills is really, really important. So building that skills range out requires experimenting. It requires sampling across different areas. So I'll talk to a couple slides later around the difference between a specialist and a generalist. But the idea here is that having a multidisciplinary mindset is very important. It's very important for a number of reasons. One is that it gives you more tools in your toolbox that you can draw from. So a wider variety of skills that you can apply to different situations. And two, it actually helps with the neuroplasticity in one's brain. It helps an individual develop the mindset and the muscle to learn new things and to tackle new and novel situations. And that's essentially the kinds of 21st century skills that we will need to handle and to navigate complex environments. So another way of looking at skills, so I'm giving you different frameworks or different avenues in which to think about this. This is another way of looking at it. So when you look at this graphic over here, having self-knowledge and having self-knowledge and self-understanding is a skill. It's something that is learned over the course of time and is very, very important. Having subject matter knowledge is obviously very important. Having your 21st century skills like critical thinking, communication, creative thinking, collaboration, these are foundational and super important to any career. However, if you were to put me into a corner and say, what is the most important skill that someone needs to have in order to succeed in the world of work or the future of work, I would say it belongs to that first quadrant over there. We call it metacognition, but it's essentially learning how to learn. Being a good, strong learner, being curious, being willing, being open to learning new things is absolutely foundational. If you don't have that, all of these other elements fall by the wayside. And also having a growth mindset. So having a growth mindset means your response to failure, your response to setbacks is a positive response. It fuels you, it motivates you versus demotivating you and making you more fearful and more passive in the process. So these are critical areas that I think as teachers, as educators, as guiders, as Yenza, we really want to focus in on because we believe that sits at the foundation of stacking one's skills to succeed. So just talking about how employers look and perceive people entering into the world of work, I've got a few ideas for you. So I mentioned earlier the difference between a specialist and a generalist. I'm not going to go into the detail here. If people are interested in this concept, which I'll talk to in a sec, I've done a TEDx talk around this particular idea. You can Google it online or on YouTube. It's 18 minutes where I dive into the ideas behind specialists and generalists and how we as a society and as a technological society are shifting the importance and the emphasis towards having a generalist mindset. The industrialized model helped us produce specialists, being able to fit within a particular production line or having a specific role within a larger organization, being a cog in a wheel, whereas a lot of those cogs are being automated. And so we as human beings have to be multidisciplinary. We have to be able to straddle between different kinds of sectors or different disciplines. And so having more of a generalist mindset and a generalist approach to careers is very important. So previously, you would need to pick your career field and stay within that career field for 20 years, and that was the way in which we were advised. But now individuals can go and sample different careers, different sectors, different areas, build out their skills range, build out their experience, and they become a very valuable hybrid generalist employee that can do multiple things within an organization. And so this is becoming really important. I'm not going to go into the detail here, but just a couple of the advantages of being a generalist. You have a broader range of transferable skills. You've got career flexibility. You're able to connect the dots between things that a specialist generally wouldn't be able to. And generalists are often the ones that are able to innovate far better and far more than a specialist. Now, I'm not saying that we do away with specialists. We will always need specialists and specialization. However, we did overemphasize the importance of specialists within the industrialized model, and things are really shifting. And the way in which we engage and encourage learners, we should keep this in mind, is to say it's perfectly okay to follow your curiosities wherever they may lead. And you may have a squiggly line in terms of your experience and the places you've worked and the things you've done. And that will be an advantage to you, not a disadvantage. Whereas before, I think we would have said that would be a disadvantage. Times have definitely changed. Another way of looking at it is employers used to talk about what is called the T-shaped employee, where you've got a kind of basic knowledge of a wide range of subjects, and you've got a vertical depth knowledge or specialized knowledge within a specific area. But we've moved now from a T-shaped employee to a V-shaped employee, where employers are expecting their workers to have a broader range, a deeper range of a broader set of disciplines and topics with an area of specialization. So you can see from this graphic, employers are expecting and demanding more from us, having more knowledge across a wider range of disciplines and subjects and skills. Now, how do we think about future-proofing? This is probably going to be not controversial, but it's probably not something that is spoken about or is as obvious as it should be. We believe that building individuals' character from the ground up is critical to future-proofing. When you talk about future-proofing, people think of it from a top-down perspective, which is develop the right kinds of technical skills, develop the right kinds of soft skills, develop the right kinds of, the 21st century skills. We see it not from the top down, but from the bottom up. If you build individuals to have a strong character, they're self-aware, they have resilience, they hold themselves to a higher standard, they can embrace critical thinking and growth mindset. These are the foundational characteristics of a strong character that can succeed and thrive in difficult and demanding situations. And that's where we believe a lot more emphasis needs to go towards. And then the other area, which is core to what we really do, is helping individuals navigate for themselves. So whenever I come to this slide or this graphic, I ask the question, in a fast-changing world of work, when things are changing all the time and the signposts are changing and the roads get moved to different places, the map is no longer static anymore, what would you need to go on a successful journey? Would you need a compass or would you need a map? And so the answer to that is you would want a compass, because northwest is northwest, southeast is southeast, no matter what terrain you're moving through. And so what we try to do with Yenza, and where the emphasis and the focus is to help young people develop their own inner compass so that they can course correct and navigate for themselves. So they will come to a fork in a road, a crossroads, and they will be the ones that need to make the important choices. And we believe that if you can help an individual through self-knowledge, self-understanding, developing the right kind of mindset, getting the right kinds of tools in place, they can better navigate this world of work for themselves. So that kind of ties into the last section over here of what Yenza does. So what we've endeavored to do is to build an end-to-end careers platform where we take learners through the guidance process online. They take some assessments, which we've really innovated with. We make them fast, we make them engaging, we make them fun and enjoyable, which is probably the opposite of any kind of psychometric or careers-based assessments that are out there. And then our platform analyzes this information and then personalizes recommendations. So if you recall what I said of one of the impacts of technology is it allows us to personalize the experience. That's what our platform does. We match you to careers that you're best suited for. We assist you with subject choice. We become real leaders in subject and tertiary choice and navigating that landscape. And then we assist individuals with access to skills courses we've got nearly 2,000 online courses through various partners where learners can get access to these courses to develop the necessary skills to go on a successful career journey. And there's a few other tools and features to help with school leavers. I'm going to play this video, which I think gives you a little bit of a view. A little bit of a view into what the platform looks like. Brad, if you can't hear anything, will you please let me know? I'm going to press the play button now.
Yenza, a multiple award-winning careers platform. Making big decisions at such a young age is tough both on the child and the parent. More options means a lot more complexity to navigate. That's why we developed Yenza, an end-to-end careers platform to guide young learners to make the right decisions and reach their full career potential. The Yenza platform guides learners on a personalized journey through self-understanding, intuitive exploration, skill development, and taking action towards career goals. We're experts when it comes to understanding people so that they can understand themselves better. We take a whole person approach, building self-awareness and skills across key success areas when it comes to careers. Now let's dive into some of our core features. Our assessments use gold standard frameworks, backed by science, and a modernized approach. Our formats are engaging, intuitive, multilingual, fast, and most importantly, accurate. Learners receive immediate feedback with reports that are easy to understand and interact with. Our reports build self-awareness and self-confidence with knowledge that is both insightful as well as actionable. We also provide detailed PDF printouts for parents or teachers to use for further dialogue. Our navigator tools are designed for intuitive exploration and discovery. We do the heavy lifting for you, removing the cognitive load when it comes to making important decisions. Our most important navigator is our career library. We match you to your most suitable careers based on your assessment results. We only list the latest, most in-demand or high-growing careers, and then detail everything you need to know to follow this career path. Our subject choice navigator takes you through guided lesson plans with subject scenarios and combinations. We also provide tools to help think through subject choice in a far better way, making sure there is strong career alignment. We have other navigators to help you easily find the best institutions and courses to study, as well as online short courses that are free and affordable to develop any skill. Our management software lets schools, teachers, and soon parents track and manage learner progress. You are able to access learner reports, as well as see what choices the learner has taken. You are also able to view group level results, which helps you understand cohort compositions and a lot more. Lastly, we provide rich insights that helps teachers personalize their curriculum and improve school planning. There are a lot of new features coming, but just to name a few, we're introducing gamified, goals-based quests, which are designed to take learners through a process which leads to real behavioral change. To complement quests, we have courses to help develop and grow personality, shift mindset, and build resilience. Our AI companion will be there to guide, support, and encourage learners every step of the way. Lastly, our marketplace will offer special discounts on a variety of high-quality support services, such as online tutors, tertiary application support, exam preparation, mental health, and a whole lot more. So lots to look forward to. Yenza means commit, and we are committed to guiding our members towards career success.
Cool. So I think that video does a lot better job in what I was going to present. So I'm going to skip till the end. And then, yeah, we've been operating now for 4 years. This graphic needs to actually be updated. We're in about 150 schools across South Africa. We've won multiple awards and continuously looking to add new schools that we can work with. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jared. That was incredibly informative, if a little bit scary. Yeah. I'm sure that you get that often too, when thinking about how things are going to change and how much we have to change. It does make educators feel intimidated, and it's great to know that we've got partners out there that are working on these issues and finding ways to help guide us and guide our learners through what is understatedly a scary future, but obviously an exciting one too. I think
that's the thing. They go hand in hand. So a lot of opportunity, but at the same time, a lot of new stuff to navigate.
Yeah. I think I like the concept of AI being both destructive and creative, and we need to find ways to use that creativity to our advantage rather than focus on what's being destroyed. But also to be aware of what's being destroyed, in that if we are relying on previous things that we could do, it's not going to exist in the future, and we have to accept that. And that's quite the concept of meta cognition is very interesting as well. In particular, I would imagine bringing that into the classroom and how do we train our learners in that is something that is daunting in itself. Do you have thoughts on what teachers should be doing beyond obviously utilizing the Yenza platform to understand their learners better?
Just can you say the first part? Sorry, it cracked up on my side.
On building metacognition skills in our learners. I mean, that's quite a daunting task in terms of what we do in classrooms. We're very obviously focused on achieving according to assessments, which is what our curriculum has been set up to do. But to actually serve our learners, this is what we need to be doing, is building these skills.
Yeah. So So I would say there it's, so learn. So there's two things. One is that it depends on who you speak to, but I think that every learner has preferences when it comes to their style of learning. So one of the assessments that we have is a learning style assessment, which just gives some insight to the learner in terms of their strengths. We should be able to learn in different ways. Like, we shouldn't encourage a learner to only learn in the way that they prefer, because we get exposed to different situations and you've got to learn in different ways. But we do have our strengths. I know that I'm a very visual learner. As soon as I can see something visually, I can grasp the concept a lot better than just reading something. Had someone given me that guidance and advice early on, it would have saved me a lot of pain. I would have approached learning vast amounts of information differently. I would have used my imagination a lot more than I did, versus trying to then just grind through it and memorize things, right? So I think giving learners guidance and insight into their best modes for learning and encouraging them to practice learning in a way that they are best suited for is the start of that process. And one of our assessments actually help with that. Then the second part is allowing learners to follow their curiosity, giving them the space to do it. Now, I know that doesn't always align to curriculum and exams and marks and all of those things. However, and I know, there is a shift to project-based learning and inquiry-based learning, and I think that's important. So we need to encourage learners to follow their curiosities and to go through the process of learning and then feeding back in terms of their struggles in the process. So that's why I mentioned in one of the slides that it's important that we shift our focus and attention from the outcome and focus more on the process, because learning is a process. That's the whole thing. And so if we can have the conversations around, okay, when you were going through the process of doing this, at what point did you really struggle? Where was the issue? What did you kind of, at what, and having those kind of conversations to unlock the learning process of the individual will help them to become better learners. That's on the one side. And then on the other side is to talk about this idea of mindset and the approach to failure and the approach to, and the importance of not giving up and why that matters, and explaining that you've got two options when things don't go your way. The one option is to take it negatively and to kind of retreat from whatever it is that you're doing, or the other option is to take it as a positive learning experience, to know that you've now learned something new and you won't do that again, and you will be better for it. And I think if we can encourage those things in learners and really ingrain it through repetition, through consistency. I mean, that's how we train our little kids, right? Through consistency and repetition. If we can do that, then we can at least go to the core of that, improving one's metacognition.
So it's very much about making them active participants in their learning rather than passively consuming learning.
Yeah, 100%. So that, I mean, that also goes to the core of the Yenza platform. So when it comes to career guidance, and your traditional career guidance approach is the learner is very passive in that process. Think about it. They get given an assessment. They're generally not very engaged in these boring, paper-based, very long, cumbersome assessments. So they become very passive in that process. Then they get given a report, and the report tells them what they should or shouldn't do. And they haven't engaged themselves in that process really at all. They're totally passive. So on Yenza, why it really works so well is that we do give like insights into the individual, but we don't spoon feed the individual. We don't tell them what they should or shouldn't do. We try to point them in the right direction, and then we provide tools that are very intuitive and engaging to use for them to explore and discover for themselves. And so, with the teacher training that we do, with the instructional material that we provide, learners are the ones that are going in there and enjoying the process. And now they've switched from being passive to being active, and they're going through their own exploration and discovery process, which is what you have to do if you're actually going to get somewhere, right? So no platform can tell an individual exactly what he should or shouldn't do. It's up to that individual. So, that goes to the name of Yenza. Yenza means do or commit in Xhosa and Zulu. And we chose that name very intentionally because we want to provide the guidance, but it's up to the individual to take the action to do or to commit to their futures. They have to be an active participant and take responsibility in that process.
Oh, I love that. Love that. So one thing you said there that really stood out for me as well now is the training that you provide to teachers. So I would thoughts and knowing a bit more about my learner would be useful, but obviously I would like it would be massively more useful if I had a better understanding of how to use that information and how to engage my learners better. So the training that you provide, is that then quite extensive to teachers?
Yeah, so we do virtual trainings with teachers. We've got pre-recorded video trainings that teachers can go through. They can even take a Yenza assessment to get Yenza certified as a teacher facilitator. So it's kind of like a train the trainer model. Sometimes when we're dealing with counselors, they have already got a body of knowledge and they're just utilizing our platform for different reasons. Other times we're training like the head of life orientation, from the ground up. We also provide online support to learners. They can ask questions through our online chat. We provide email feedback as well. But a lot of the platform is geared towards this train the trainer model because We believe that the hybrid approach is the blended or the hybrid approach is the best, which is we train someone up and then they feel comfortable on the platform, and then they can dialogue and interface with the learner based on their reports or what they're grappling with, or what, any kind of questions they may have.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for all of that, Jared. I think that for those of you on this session, what would be very useful for us, I did mention that we had some polls that we'd like you to answer. I think these polls will give us a good idea of where you're at in terms of engagement in your past with Yenza, and if you would like to get some access to this platform. I think that's from what I'm hearing, Jared, this platform will answer any questions I have pretty much already just by me engaging with it. So having said,
we're not oracles, but it will point you in some good directions. That's for sure.
Brilliant. So I think if you haven't yet engaged with the Yenza platform, being able to go on there and experiment and do the assessment yourself would be a very good starting point. So with that, I think that let's run these polls. Please, if you have any questions, or if it doesn't appear for you, just let us know in either the chat box or the question box. But otherwise, very simple. You're going to get a question, multiple choice. Please just answer it quickly, and then we'll move through it like that. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. We will make this recording available to those who've joined as well. I think there's some valuable insights that Jared has shared with us here. And it is something that is surely very topical for anyone involved in education today. I think something, just a summary of my thoughts, Jared, when you shared that thing from PwC and the percentage of teachers that thought that AI would become a part of the curriculum being 60-odd%, I think that would change already by now, just having engaged with how pervasively ChatGPT and the like have become part of our lives within a year and a bit, really.
Yeah, so, I agree. Yeah, it is fascinating. It is pervasive. Sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing here, is that as we've said, but we should not be afraid of this. We should know that it's real, it's there, it's going to be part of our lives. We've thought about as humans many times before, but it really stands out in this day and age is how quickly the accelerations of society happen. If you consider society as civilization 10,000 years ago, industrialization a couple of hundred years ago, internet, when was that? And now AI, we know that these things are coming faster and faster. So I think there's no point in us putting our heads in the sand. I think that embracing this and actually making sure that we work together with experts such as yourselves to ensure that we're helping our learners in the best way that we can is the only way forward. And with that, I say thank you, Jared. We really appreciate that, and look forward to hearing more from you in our next sessions.
Cool. Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day further, and please go and educate our learners in the future.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.